I'm sitting at the PTO shop. Today's Friday, March 2nd, I believe, so I just stopped here to check on the progress. And yesterday the truck was parked here, and I'm happy to report that the progress today is that now the truck is parked inside. No work has been done. The KENWORTH promised me they will start Wednesday morning. Actually, like not this whole week, nothing has been happening, right? Like the fenders, if you remember, were ready last Saturday, right? I stopped on at the KENWORTH Saturday, everything was done. So Monday I talked to him, he says, yeah, they're busy, so we're gonna drive the truck over there Tuesday, and they said they will start working on it Wednesday, right? And then yeah, Wednesday nothing happened. Thursday the guy says, yeah, we'll start first thing on Thursday morning. So Friday I go in the front door, because I know that there was he showed me the tank that they want to install, and it's like 25 gallons, you know, it's a much bigger tank, and they had trouble finding the space behind the sleeper because, you know, there's no catwalk, right? I'll have to do something about that. And so he showed me the tank, so I know the tank was sitting there on the counter, you know. And so now I walked in, there's nobody in the office, but I see the same tank sitting on the floor. And I'm like, okay, because he was talking about maybe getting a smaller one, but those are like 4-week waiting time. And I said, no, I cannot wait 4 weeks for a smaller tank, you know. Even though I don't have the, I don't know why they, you know, they never listen to you, you know. I said, I need a small tank, PTO, to operate a gooseneck trailer. I said my previous tank was 1 cubic foot, like if you guys remember on the Mac, right? It was like, you know, from here to here. It was a cube, basically 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, or 1 cubic foot, very tiny tank. And this guy is saying that they have trouble, they'll have to make a custom bracket. And of course, when you don't have space, you know, the smaller tank would be easier, but that's what they ordered. So now, you know, at least the good thing is that even if I have a leak somewhere, I'll have plenty of oil, you know, to play with, you know. So anyway, so I go in there and I see the tank on the floor. So of course, you know, because he told me the truck will be done this week. And I grab some guy, I say, can I see, you know, the boss? And he says, okay, let me see where he is. And I follow him inside the shop. I see my truck sitting there. The hood is closed, everything is basically, the truck just found its spot, you know. And that's the problem with these shops, you know, because over here you have it's a very busy yard, Schneider National, you know, Schneider Canada over here. On the other side over there, there's a Transax, a Canadian trucking company. Over here you have Mammoth on the opposite side, and all these guys, you know, they have hundreds of trucks, right? And so these guys found a perfect, you know, location. And of course they're busy, you know. And I hate this. If you remember, I always had trouble with my Mac dealer, who I was totally in love with at first. They were like real nice guys, and then they started getting busy, you know. And once they started getting busy, they started getting sloppy. They started hiring you know, trainees and students, and those guys would work on your truck and they would still charge you the full rate. And then eventually, after like a few blunders and overpriced low quality work, I just said, that's it, no more. So the last few times when I needed to do repair, I was just going to a smaller shop which was not that busy in London, Ontario, you know, the same Mac Vision Truck Group. And that's always the problem, you know, always hard to find a good shop. And so it's never a good sign when the shop is too busy, because they rush, they don't care, you know. But I made sure I talked to this guy. I said, please install the drain valve at the bottom for water. Okay, check. I said, please make sure you use wide zip ties, because that's the problem I had on the Mac, where the zip ties were cutting the hoses and there was a leak, you know. Like everything else was fine, it just that. And he showed me the zip ties they use. They look like, you know, yeah, they're wide, you know, kind of like industrial strength, but still I think the edges are sharp. I don't know. But oh, we never had a problem. What, I'm making this shit up or something? I don't know. But maybe it's because on the Mac I remember the hoses, maybe one like they were lying they were hanging very low at one point. You know, I just climbed in there and I hooked up a bungee cord. I think probably maybe one zip tie broke or something, and it was putting a lot of pressure on the other ones, you know, because those hoses are heavy, especially when the oil is in them, right? Maybe that was the problem. But this, I don't know, seems like a nice guy, you know, the boss in here. But anyway, so he says, oh yeah, we were swamped, we had kind of an emergency. He says, I promise you the truck will be ready Saturday, and Monday you'll be back on the road. I guess he does not realize that it's a brand new truck. And I told him, well, I said, he says, you want us to call us? He says, you want us to call you? I said, well, technically it's still not my truck because we haven't even signed the lease. I said, we're waiting for you. This is the last repair, and the sales guy needs all this to update to make sure because maybe, you know, the sale price of the truck may go down or it may go up a little bit, because he programmed all this, the PTO, engine heater, and the fenders in the price, but you know, prices change because now our dollar actually is pretty weak. So depending where they get these parts, so the final price of the truck can fluctuate a little bit, right? And so they were waiting for this to prepare the final bill to include in the sale, the final bill of sale to include in the lease, sorry. And so I said, you know, don't rush, you know, I said, because there's no use to me to have this truck done on Saturday. And he says, oh, so you want us, I said, yeah, call Kenworth and let them grab this truck. You know, like nothing's happening on the weekend, right? And he said, okay. And then he says, Monday morning we'll just drive it over to Kenworth. But he says by Monday it should be ready 100%. And that's the problem, you know. And again, my recommendation to anybody who's buying a brand new truck, get as much as possible done at the factory. Because you see, this is what happens. This truck was at the dealer on February 20th, right? Today's March 2nd, so it's been 12 days, and all they done was the fenders, the engine heater, and the PTO is still not done, you know? So it'll be like 2 weeks. Basically it takes 2 weeks to prepare the truck, and at least thanks, you know, thanks to my business acumen, right? I had the flashing lights installed, you know, like there's nothing else, well, besides the signs, and you know, and maybe I'll do the rust protection. But it's still one more thing I have to finish. I really need to finish installing that scale gauge, like just the wire, hook up the wire to the trailer. I just stop by the trailer shop and let them hook up the wire, because everything else is done in the truck. So anyway, and so that's what's happening with the truck, right? So nothing till Monday, no news till Monday, but at least nobody stole it yet, you know. And so the plan now is to drive to Cambridge, because yesterday they emailed me saying that there's a package for me. I hope it's my transponder for US Customs that goes on the windshield. I will show you in a second when I'm there. And then also I found a disc on Amazon, a disc for my bracket for the tablet, you know. And I think it should be arriving today as well. So that, you know, disc will go, like, it glues to the dash, and then the bracket for the tablet with the suction cup, you know, goes on the disc, and this way it stays put and not, you know, does not move. And over here I saw a couple of cute Peterbilts. I know I'm not a big fan, but I know a lot of guys here that watch my channel, they like Peterbilt trucks, so I'm gonna show you a couple of cool looking, I think they're like brand new Peterbilt trucks. They're 3-axle, but they look, you know, really nice actually. These Laidlaw, they look pretty nice. I don't know. I think everything is nice. Yeah, over here everything is brand new. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm missing. I don't have this. Because of course this truck has a much longer wheelbase. And on my truck, now check this out. These guys, yeah, the same fenders. See, the same style, except they're red. Nice fifth wheel. Check this out. Oh, aluminum, I think. Aluminum fifth wheel. But yeah, this is nice. The only problem I see with this truck is that where's the air horns? You know? I don't see. Like leather or artificial leather seats. So yeah, it's not a heavy haul truck. 12 watt 22.5. Okay, so I'm guessing 14.6 front axle. Oh, automatic transmission. Alright. Flat top sleeper, no windows. I don't like that. I want windows. Alright. Yeah, they probably just use these guys for storage. I mean, this I'm looking at the exhaust pipe. See how it goes under the frame. You know, not above the frame like in my truck, I think, but under the frame. I think it's still one pipe. No, it's two pipes, but like they're like Y. So both of these side exhaust pipes, and then there's one that connects to yeah, this is a definitely different design than on my truck, you know. So basically both exhaust pipes are connected. But it's not the real, you know, two-in-one kind of deal, right, where each block of cylinders has its own exhaust, you know. Like on this Mustang, actually, that's why these V6 engines now can produce so much horsepower, you know, like 300 horsepower, because I have a true dual exhaust, you know. All the way from the engine there's a separate pipe for each side of the engine. But of course all modern trucks, even these huge diesel trucks that are supposed to have lots of power, they just have one pipe, but it's a huge one, right? 5-inch. And then they just split it into two pipes.
back and we'll print another draft copy before we go into the making of the book. Okay.
$14 please.
Thank you.
And we have a winner. FedEx, SERGEI DRATCHEV from Maria, CBP, Indianapolis, Indiana. Shipping date February 28th. Oh wow. Oh yeah, by FedEx, you know. This is pretty cool. And I don't remember how I... Oh, you know, the... Over here it says extremely urgent. I love this. See, that's the efficiency of the government, you know. Sometimes it comes into play. So CBP, and I'm always confused by this, like, because C is like Canada, right? But US chose this abbreviation, US Customs and Border Protection. You see, they don't care about other countries. As far as they're concerned, there's only one country in the world, so they don't need to specify which country this is the agency of. You know, like, no, but honestly, I know I got a lot of American viewers, but you guys should realize that there's other countries out there, right? Like, for example, but actually all agencies in US are like that, like Internal Revenue Service, right? There's no country, just says Internal Revenue Service. In Canada, because we are so tiny, much smaller country in terms of population, not by territory, I think we're actually bigger than US, but in population we are much smaller, so we have to put in Canada everywhere. Like our IRS is called Revenue Canada, right? And what they call our border protection? Hold on. So Canada, Customs and Border Protection, that's US, but in Canada it's called, I forgot. I'm pretty sure there's the word Canada in there, just an observation. I'm not making fun of anybody, but just kind of like interesting how a huge country of like US just so confident in naming things that anyway. All right, so what do we have here? Now we're doing unpacking. We got transponder placement instructions. Okay, shows you that the transponder must be at the bottom right corner of the windshield near the driver. Okay. May not be displayed on side windows. Only one transponder may be affixed to the windshield at a time. Glass cut from a previous windshield and pasted on top of your current vehicle windshield is not acceptable. If you are utilizing a temporary holder for your transponder, do not affix it to the dashboard. It must be secured to the windshield. A copy of the transponder receipt must be kept in the vehicle. I already have the receipt. Oh, and they sent me a copy here. Yeah, $404.35. And so once again, this is not the toll fees. Those are separate, but this is kind of like the government fee that Canadian truckers have to pay each time when crossing into US, like somehow, like there's no fee for when you cross into Canada, like Canadian government does not charge this fee. It's only on the US side, which I don't think is fair. If they charge Canadians to enter US, they should charge Americans to enter Canada. That would be fair. But anyway, so it used to be $10.75 US each time you have to pay. And then there's a bridge toll, because most of the crossings are toll, right? And then it became either 11 or 13, and then basically they reduced. At first they were taking cash or debit in all the lanes on the border. Then they reduced it to only one lane like, and they put a sign that says cash here, like all others must have a transponder, and they got rid of the cash lane altogether. And basically now this is obligatory, because if you try to cross the border without this, like over here in when you cross into Buffalo from Fort Erie, Ontario, the bridge guys, they set up a special booth, which sometimes is open, sometimes is not, but there's a special guy there sitting, and they check if you have a transponder. If you don't have a transponder, they basically they direct you to there's an office nearby where there's a special machine like ATM, but a special machine that takes payments to CBP. And I tried to use that one once, but you need a special username. Basically you need your password, everything from the website where you registered to get this. It's a very lengthy process. I was not able to do it, you know. So I had to, when I was with the previous company, I had to call them and say, hey, they're not letting me through. Like, did you guys ordered my transponder, right? And the guy says, oh, it's fine, we have the receipt, we forgot to send it to you. So he sent me the receipt, and that receipt is proof that basically they let you through, you know. But now since I have a new truck, I cannot use the old transponder. I just left that one in the Mac. That one, the new owner, if they decide to go into US, they can use that transponder. Actually, they can transfer it, like I did when I transferred the transponder from the previous company, because it was my money, I paid for it, right? And so the whole thing, so 400 bucks is this little piece, you know, this tiny little piece with some kind of a wire in the middle there inside, and like looks like a long piece of wire and some kind of a sensor, and it has a serial number, you know. And I just need to attach it. I just need to attach it like that at the bottom right corner of my windshield. And this way they have a scanner when you go through the border. They have a scanner. But the problem is, I forgot, on my Kenworth, do I have a single windshield or dual windshield? I'll have to look at the picture. If it's a single windshield, I'll definitely use this pouch. I'll probably just cut it like this with the scissors, you know, and just, but actually it'll look nasty, you know, because this is like a red color. Basically I need to find something where, in case I break a windshield, and the chance of that is higher when you have a single windshield, you know. If it's a dual, then, you know, sometimes you, like that one is, the one on the right cracks, so you only replace that one. But see, like they're saying, because this thing, once you glue this on, it's almost impossible to take it off without damaging the transponder. And it's not that they're giving, I remember they said on the website you can get a replacement. They'll probably don't even charge you anything, or maybe charge you $1 or something, but it's just the time, you know, it's time consuming. I don't know if I could use, let's say if I break my windshield and I'm waiting for a new one, can I show them the receipt saying that I'm waiting for a replacement one? Yeah, probably that's a possibility, but no, I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna get a small pack, like what I'm using when I'm buying nuts, you know. But this is very important. I'm real happy that I have this, you know. Otherwise, troubles at the border are almost guaranteed. Now these chores are done. So what I figured I'd do today, like I want to clean the D-rings on the trailer, because, you know, now that the outriggers are black and look nice, now those D-rings look awful, you know. But it snowed overnight, you know, amazing. March 2nd, there was a little bit of a snow, and the temperature dropped. Like before we had like 50 F or plus 10 Celsius, now it's 0, or 32 F was in the morning, now it's plus 2. What is it, like 34, 35 F, you know, but still very cold. It's too cold to work, you know, outside on the trailer. I don't want to do it. And plus the paint, you know, it needs slightly warmer temperatures, right? But this weekend, since my truck is still at the PTO shop, right, I will have time, so I think I'll just go. I already have that wire brush, right? If you want to go to Canadian Tire and buy some sandpaper, and I still have 2 cans of black paint. I think that should be enough. If not enough, I'll just get another one. You know, they're not that expensive. So that's my plan for the weekend. But what I want to do now is, a buddy of mine who's a freight broker in Western Canada, he sent me a sample of how heavy haul truckers submit quotes, you know, and he sent me a sample from like a serious, you know, outfit, like where people run with 10, 12, you know, 13 axles, and it's like a nice standard form. Looks like an invoice, except it says quote, you know, the company name, you know, and then the price, the accessory charges, you know, like permits, and then at the bottom they include their conditions, you know, let's say if there's a delay because of the faulty paperwork submitted by the customer, you know, somewhere, or something, like there's a very sound requirements, you know, from the carrier. And so when they submit this quote, the broker or the shipper, whoever, you know, they're sending it to, like they can see, you know, like what this guy wants. Like for example, so I want to make my own based on that sample, and based for example, they did not put their, like my biggest beef when picking up used machinery, because you know all my shipments go across the border, right? Used machinery and even new one, well, it's not that big of a deal with the new machinery, but used one, they often dirty, and I cannot take a dirty machine or piece of equipment across the border. Like into US, they just reject it, and I have to pay the toll like 3 times, you know, and then you have to find a wash. So I want to include that clause in there, saying that all used equipment going across the border, across the US-Canada border, must be clean. Arranging the wash is the responsibility of the customer. If the carrier has to do it at their own cost, they will bill the broker at cost plus 15%, you know. So don't let them use your money. Like, I'm not a bank, right? They want me to pay my own money to wash. I'm gonna charge them extra, you know, just like everybody does, you know, like when you do a repair at the shop, you know, like your car, and they buy parts, they always add a little bit, and you'll even see on the invoice, they're not hiding it, you know. Yeah, cost, bought the part for $1, service fee $20, so your price $21 plus tax, you know. And so that's my plan for today. So basically I'm trying to get all the paperwork ready. I already have all my, you know, bill of lading, which I did when I started in October, right? You know, my own bill of lading template. I got the invoice that I set to the customers. I bought the notepad to track my fuel purchases. Oh, and that's another thing I gotta do today. I bought this pad, and so now I'm gonna just, never mind, it's too hard to get out, but I'm gonna separate it into sections, like a couple of pages for each state and each province, and whenever I'm in fueling in that state or province, I will just write down the, you know, date, location, and amount, how much fuel I purchased, you know. This will help me a lot with the IFTA, and then I need to buy the second one like that, just because my old one is already worn out, like the pad. I'll buy, so one will be for fuel, and the other notepad will be for miles, right, where I'm just writing miles. I'll put the starting mileage when I receive the truck brand new. I think it'll probably have like 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles on it, maybe more. So I put start, Ontario, date, and then each time I cross the border into another state or province, I'll just write down that mileage, and I'm using kilometers because my IFTA return is all in metric. It's all kilometers for distance and liters for fuel. So that will be done. And so yeah, transponder, and then I'm gonna do, that's the, just want to look professional. And so next time somebody's asking me, you know, for a quote, I'm gonna send them this and just say that these conditions, once accepted, become a part of the agreement between the carrier, me, and the broker or the shipper, you know. So I don't want to pay for truck wash myself. I'll charge them if they cannot do it. And then like any delays, like couple of times, just to give you an idea, this was when I worked with Landstar, when agents failed to send me the customs invoice, you know, and it's Friday, I'm sitting at the border, it's 6 o'clock, you know, no customs invoice, I cannot cross, and everybody went home, and so I'm spending the weekend at the border because of this, you know, just like one example. So any delays caused by, you know, missing paperwork that was supposed to be submitted from the carrier, they must pay, you know. Any delays, let's say, like loading, unloading, like this guy in the sample, they said 2 hours to load, 2 hours to unload. After that, they charge them so many, you know, dollars per hour. So that would help me, you know, hit that, maybe make a bit more money. Because, you know, a lot of these brokers, they send you the agreement, do not correct anything, just sign at the bottom. And of course the agreement only protects their butt, right? There's nothing there about me. It's all my, like, I read through the agreement because I was always in a rush, you know, to start making some money when I started in October, right? I didn't do it, but now, and then some complications arise, you know. But now I want to do this quote, and I say, hey, I'm not washing your equipment with my own money for free. You have to pay me if I'm delayed, you know, if you have to pay me if you didn't send me the proper paperwork, you know. So all that good jazz. Anyway, so those are the plans. So hopefully the truck will be done Monday, and we'll probably sign the lease Monday or Tuesday, because that's when they will know the final cost of everything, right? And meanwhile, so the weather should be warmer tomorrow, and I'll go and do my deering. So basically the trailer will look nice, and then I'll just wash it and go on from there. There'll be just a few minor chores left before I hit the road, and the biggest one of those, of course, is to transfer the plate from the Mac to the Kenworth. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Captain SERGEI out.